Viewers, wherever you are, hello and welcome to this very special episode of your program, An Egyptian Anecdote. The history of Egypt is the most prominent history in the world. Any reputable history book about the history of the world talks about the history of Egypt extensively. The Egyptian civilization taught the world many, many great things. No one can deny that. However, there is a lot of controversy until today about the beginning of the Egyptian civilization, the nature of the Egyptian thinking and mental discourse. Is also a lot of controversy about the nature of the Egyptian beliefs since the time of the pharaohs and so on. To shed more light on these mysteries and try to find a logical solution for them all, I'm really delighted to be accompanied today by my usual co-host and co-owner of the program, Amr Habib. Amr, hello and welcome to the program.
Hello, Muhammad. Nice to see you again.
Absolutely, the pleasure is all mine. And tonight, we are really delighted, Amr and I, to be accompanied by a very outstanding guest who's joining us from Cairo, Egypt. We are joined by Dr. Wasim Sisi, who is a very prominent physician, and he is a great writer and thinker about Egyptian history and Egyptology. And he is a person with a deep and very profound Egyptian sentiment. Dr. Wasim, hello and welcome to the program. It's a real pleasure to have you with us tonight.
Oh, thank you so much. It is a great pleasure for me as well.
Thank you very much for giving us some of your precious time. And to start off, Dr. Wasim, there's been a lot of controversy and a lot of discussions about the inception of the Egyptian civilization. So according to the British Museum, the Egyptian civilization started 3,100 years before Christ. Then there are other writings that claim that the Egyptian civilization is 5,000 years before Christ, or a little bit more. Then we see Herodotus, who is the very prominent historian, in his book that he wrote in 455 BC, he said that, according to my estimation and studies, I believe that the Egyptian civilization started at least 11,000 years before my book, which means that the Egyptian civilization is more than 11,455 years old. Also recently, there's been some carbon dating that was done on the Giza Plateau. Not for the pyramids per se, but for the stones that surround the pyramids. And it has been proven that the pyramids, only the pyramids and the Giza Plateau, date back to more than 11,000 years. Dr. Wasim, how old is the Egyptian civilization from your point of view? Is it like the British Museum, 3,100, like Herodotus, 11,455, or even much more?
We have to differentiate between civilization and pre-civilization era. Civilization starts by recording. The British Museum says is that the first dynasty started at 3,100 or 200 years, whereas the Egyptian historian Manito, who was born around 325 BC, he says that the first dynasty was at 5,619 BC. This controversy between the British Museum and the Egyptian historian who was born in Samanut, the proofs and the recent discoveries and research works on behalf of Manito, not the British Museum. How? André Pochon is a French Egyptologist. He took samples from mummies in the Old Kingdom and exposed it to carbon-14. And he found that the age of these mummies are older than what the British Museum says by 2,400 years. If you add 2,400 plus 3,100, it is nearly the 5,600 years of Manito. So André Pochon proved that the Egyptian historian Manito was right when he said that the first dynasty started 5,600 years. Another proof came from Flinders Petrie. He is a British Egyptologist. The British Museum said that the first dynasty, 3 kings, whereas Manito said that the first dynasty, they were 9 kings. Flinders Petrie discovered 9 tombs for the 9 kings in the first dynasty. And one of these kings was a queen. And his tomb, we see a table on the shape of a heart, and she is on the bottom of the heart, and the ministers are around her on both sides, and her name Merit Net. The difference between the 3 kings and the 9 kings are 450 years. Look at the difference, 450 in one dynasty.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
That's why we can tell that the difference between the British Museum and Manito is really 2,000 and around 600 years. So, and the British Museum discovered that, and the British Museum trying to correct the error by saying dynasty -1, dynasty -2, and so on. So our written history is 5,600 years. Add 2020, that is after Christ, so our civilization is around 7,000 years. According to what is before this civilization, well, what Herodotus mentioned is true, and more than that, because it is around 10,000 years more.
There's a lot of controversy now today about ancient Mesopotamia, ancient China, and ancient Egypt. Which started before which? And if we take into account what Herodotus said and what was proven in carbon dating, then definitely the Egyptian civilization would be by far the oldest. So
if it has been proved, if it has been proved, as you have seen according to André Pochon and Flinders Petrie, that Egyptian civilization started 5,600 years, so this means that Babylonian and the Assyrian civilizations and Chinese civilization came later on. And the third proof is that I wrote about this professor in China in 2009. He wrote a book and tried to publish it, but he was an associate professor. The head of the department was against publishing this book, which proves that the Egyptian civilization is a mother civilization of the Chinese one.
Mm-hmm.
But luckily enough, when he became the head of the department in 2015, he published this book. And I wrote around 2 years ago about this scientist and about his book and the story of publishing this book, in which he admitted that Chinese civilization is an outspring from the Egyptian civilization. And consequently, you can tell that the Ptolemaic civilization or the Babylonian and the Assyrian civilization are offsprings from the Egyptian civilization.
Just a follow-up question about the ancient civilizations in the world. A lot of people speak about the city of Damascus and the city of Jericho in Palestine, Jericho, Ariha. Okay, they talk about the city of Damascus, Damascus, or the city of Jericho, Ariha, to be the oldest continuously inhabited cities in the world. Do you agree to this, or do you think...
What do you mean by inhabited? Concerning what people, you mean?
Yes, so they say that these are the two oldest... people. They say that these are the two oldest cities in the world that were continuously inhabited by human beings since the beginning of history until today. Do you think...
This is against science, because science mentioned that one common ancestor for human beings and apes, and I would like to tell you that there is no Arabic word for the word apes. Mm-hmm. There is a great difference between monkeys and apes.
Yes.
Monkeys existed on our planet of Earth since 32 million years, whereas apes and human beings, one common ancestor, 7 million years. On the nearly 4 million and 4,000 years, diversion and separation became to start. Homo sapiens, Homo habilis, nearest of these apes to man is chimpanzee. RD was discovered in Africa 4 millions and 400,000 years. Lucy, 3 millions, 3.2. Anyway, RD, 4.4 millions, and Lucy, 3.2. So the origin of human beings in Africa, not in Damascus, not in Ariha, and you can, at the moment or after this program, just the American Journal of Human Genetics, and they could prove that even the Asians and Europeans, there are Egyptian genes in their blood. And human beings started from Egypt even, and they immigrated to Asia and Europe. Mm-hmm. This is a great research work. The three scientists, Mark Jobling, locabagamy, and coversil.
That's absolutely.
So humanity started in Africa.
So, Amr, please go ahead.
Dr. Wasim, there's a lot of misconceptions, especially from the young generations now here in Canada, especially like our kids, like Egyptian kids, but were born here in Canada. Unfortunately, they think that Egyptians have always mistreated the women, and women have no rights in ancient Egypt. So what can you tell us how women were treated in ancient Egypt?
We can read in the document of marriage what is written or what says, if I stop loving you, I will give you, I don't know how you say, أرد لك مهرك.
Okay.
I'll give you back your dowry. I'll give you back your dowry.
Yes. And half of what we together could gain in our marital life. Not only that, if there is any cruelty by tongue or hand, the wife has the right to complain to the court. There were no lawyers in ancient Egypt. Lawyers appeared 31 BC with the Romans. But before that, any Egyptian, man or woman, had the right to complain. So if any cruelty by tongue or hand, the wife has the right to complain. So the first time, the court warns the husband. The second time, the penalty is by kurbag, around 10 or
like
15.
Yeah.
The third time, divorced by law, if this cruelty comes.
Wow.
The system of one wife was known. The law prevents the marriage from sister to brother. But in the royal family, it was allowed, so as the man becomes the king, and the sister has the fortune and all the money of the dynasty, all of it. In other words, so as not marriage from outside, though the marriage in the royal families was the first, and the head first wife is one, but the kings had the right to have other wives, but they are not in the same prestige of the first one.
So the women
as you
actually,
the man was treating, and we see that from the first dynasty there was a queen ruling. In the fifth dynasty, on the 17th of dynasty, Ahutub, the one who mobilized the armies and dismissed the Hyksos outside Egypt, Hatshepsut on the 18th dynasty, the second dynasty, the head of this branch of medicine, which is dentistry. So she was sharing man in everything, even in the holy things. She was a priest, female priest. And this is one of the causes of why this civilization lasted for thousands of years. For two things. Women were on the same level like men in everything, and the law. The law was justice ma'at between the king and the people, and all in front of the law are the same.
So the equity, like everybody is equal in front of the law.
Yes.
That's really, well, we're missing something like this right now, like this type of
Yes.
thought and this type of
Yes.
justice, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Dr. Rasim, really, we really thank you very much for being with us tonight. It's a great delight to have you. We're really looking forward to having you time and again, because the questions that we can ask someone with your knowledge and the benefits that we can all get are countless, really. So I really thank you very, very much for your invaluable presence with us tonight. It was a great, great pleasure. Really looking forward to having you again and again with us here on the program.
Thank you so much. And a great honor for me, and great pleasure for me to be with you again and again and again.
Thank you so much.
The pleasure is all ours, dear Professor. And dear viewers, if we were just to conclude here, Dr. Wasim shed a lot of light on a lot of hidden areas in the Egyptian history. And he has his very, very outstanding book that talks about the hidden areas in history and the secret areas in history that were deliberately hidden. He talks about things in history, in the ways of education, and so on and so forth. We hope that in the future episodes, we can delve deeper into the crypts of his great book that sheds light on a lot of areas that have been always concealed. And we hope that we can, together with the doctor, reveal them to all of us. Dear viewers, dear lovers of Egypt and the Egyptian civilization, I hope you have a very pleasant time. Until we meet again, please take very good care. Thank you very much.